Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Under the Umbrella Podcast. We back with another weekly basketball reaction. Me and Cam are gonna, the usual. We're gonna discuss what trending topic in basketball this week. What we feel like is interesting. Give our little reaction. How we feel about certain stuff that happened this week in basketball, and just elaborate on certain stuff. If you didn't know, maybe now you know. We could be a local news for weekly basketball reaction. Cam, man. Yeah, before we head out, once again, subscribe, like, follow. We appreciate it. Every single views, everything. People listen on Spotify, YouTube, watching us now on YouTube. We appreciate all of that. But hey, Cam, I'm gonna hand it over to you and get it rocking, Cam.
Thank y'all for being here with us. Thanks for watching, listening. Like Ken said, like, comment, subscribe. You know, anything, DM us, all of that. We appreciate everyone's support. We appreciate all the follows, the listens, the views, all of that. So keep it up. We're gonna keep bringing y'all this good content. So we're gonna get started in these reactions. So first, I wanted to touch on Juju Watkins scoring, surpassing 1,000 points at USC in a game against Santa Clara. I really just wanted to know how you felt about it, Ken. I didn't really get to talk to you much about that.
Hey, Michael Jordan has arrived. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, Juju is real deal Holyfield. Like, legit. Like, people thought Caitlin Clark was like Showtime. I think Caitlin, like, she doesn't shoot the high clip threes like Caitlin Clark, but Juju real, like, it only took her 2 years to do this. And we're not even more than like what?
A
Maybe
couple games in
6,
the
7,
season.
8 games in? You knew you scoring at a high clip if you hitting 1,000 within a year, one full season, and a couple of games. You are scoring at a high clip. Your basketball skills are high. Like, so I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised it was so early. I knew it was gonna happen this year, but dang, that's early. You know, I'm excited. I'm a big Juju fan. Like, I seen a workout with Phil Handy, just left hand workouts. I'm like, this girl is in this gym to straight left hand work all day for 2 hours with Phil Handy. If you know who Phil Handy is, he's a hell of a trainer. And he doesn't play like that. So I was like, yeah, she built a little different. So that, like, I'm, to be honest, Cam, I'm not surprised. I expected it, but the only thing I'm surprised by is just how early it came. That's like, yeah, the WNBA better be excited. Y'all about to get a meal ticket. That's what y'all about to get. There's gonna be a show when she get there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Like, she's the truth. Like, I like, of course, everybody kind of has their preference of like style of play that they like to watch, but to me, it's like Juju just gives me like Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi vibes of just her game and her just how dedicated she is. You see her putting the work in, but like you said, her surpassing 1,000 points that fast is not really heard of. You know, you got to be the truth if you're dropping buckets like that. Like, I don't. There's no other way around it. You got to be the truth. She can shoot the three, the mid range. She can get to the rim. She can handle the ball. Like, I don't really know what else. What else you need or want from the girl, but she's definitely the truth. And she's just one of those players that like when I say she gives me Maya Moore vibes, that's not even just the game. It's just like the demeanor, the way she carries herself. It's like she's all about hoops. Like, she's all about business. She don't be out there playing around. Like, I know last year I kept hearing different things about, like, if she didn't score 30, she was like mad, like, at herself. Even if they won, like, obviously she wants to win first, but like, even if it's a game they won and she didn't drop 30, she like, all right, the next game I'm getting 30. Like, her mentality is really what I think is gonna set her apart, especially once she gets to the next level. Like, I think like people had high expectations for Caitlin Clark. Like, I think she's gonna
Bars
come in
got
at the next.
risen.
yeah, like she's gonna come in at the next level and just like I think she's immediate. Whoever drafts her, and we're gonna be having the lottery, the WNBA lottery, draft lottery tomorrow. So we'll kind of see where she may, end up going. So whoever drafts her, they better be ready.
No, Cam. Cam, you want to know what's the crazy part? She got one more year of college basketball.
I keep forgetting how young she
That's
is,
the
and I
crazy.
keep
That's how
forgetting
good
that
she is.
it makes more sense for them to stay and obviously get their bags and all of that. But like even just her demeanor, she don't come off as that young of a person. She comes off like
Yep,
she's been a
she's
WNBA
been doing it
veteran
for years.
already. Yeah, it's like you can just tell she don't really care about too much other than basketball. So that's always great, obviously for herself, but it's great for the game and kind of an inspiration for younger girls playing, even younger boys playing. Something to kind of look
Yeah,
up to is like if you really want to be that person, you really got to put the work in and really show the world like she has obviously last year and then starting off this year like she's not the one to play around with. So like you said, she's gonna do her time in the NCAA, but once she gets to the WNBA, in my eyes, it's gonna be a wrap for a lot of opposing guards. She's gonna be tough to deal with. Like I feel
nightmare,
sorry for him a little bit.
nightmare. And
But
the crazy thing is, transcendent player, bro. We like Caitlin Clark is a transcendent player too, but this is just like
facts.
it's like having LeBron transcendent and like almost like scary Wimby. Like it's like those like that they're like the two like because Caitlin Clark is a trend. That's why I tell people Caitlin Clark better enjoy the WNBA for the next two 3 years because when she step on that court, bar no injury, basketball is WNBA is on. It's on. It's gonna be on and crazy. But anyway, Cam, I didn't mean to get on topic of Juju, but yeah, Juju a problem. That's
Nah, I
all need to
mean,
be said.
you know, I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet, but it was just a cool thing to see her surpassing 1,000 points so early in her college career. So that's big, and I just enjoy watching her play. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening and watching us, I'm pretty sure they enjoy her game as well. So I had to bring that up on today's episode just because that's a huge accomplishment for somebody so young. So I definitely wanted to bring some light to that. But the next thing I just wanted to briefly talk about was Paige had a big game against UNC. I think it was yesterday. 29 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 out of 8 from 3-point line. That was a ranked matchup for UConn. I just wanted to bring that up because
Yeah.
she had a big game, and it's good just to seeing her back healthy and playing. And so I just wanted to give her a little bit of love because I know people have been wanting to see her play. So I'm glad she's back and playing well at that. On top of being healthy, so that's always good. Did you have any thoughts on the game she had?
Paige is Paige doing her. I am glad. Like I'm with you, Cam. I am glad Paige is back on a healthy note, and most of the UConn team. Period. The only thing I want to
True.
see from Paige this year is just keep going because like she don't have like let's just be honest, Paige don't have the hype from what 2 3 years ago when she was basically the Juju of 2 3 years ago. So them
Right.
injuries, but I wanted to see her keep going because most likely Paige will be the number 1 draft pick. So interestingly enough, that you brought up the draft tomorrow, I'm hoping Paige get drafted by like I'm hoping the Sky get the number 1 pick, so Paige could get drafted with like team up with the Bayou Barbie, or well 305 Barbie now she call herself, Angel Reese. So that would be interesting to see if that two combination could work to combat Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston's combination. So I'm hoping that happens. That's my future outlook. I wish could happen.
I mean, I definitely agree. That would be nice having a big like Angel Reese, and even Camila Cardoza, having those two bigs to kind of run some pick and roll, just setting picks in general, just to kind of help her get open shots and open looks, get in the paint, stuff like that. So I would definitely be here for that. So we'll have to keep tabs on that draft lottery tomorrow to kind of see how that falls into place. But that would definitely be a good look for her and for the Sky. But we touched on Paige briefly. Shout out to her. The next topic I wanted to bring up was Adidas signed high school star Kalina Smith. And we were talking off camera before we were recording. And you said she was the number one player for the class of 2027.
Yes, that
So
is
I didn't
wow.
even know that when I was just doing my research. I was kind of just trying to find out more about her and how they came about this deal. But the fact that she got an Adidas deal that early in high school is crazy. I mean, it's
Crazy.
the times now though with the NIL and all of that stuff. Um, we were just kind of curious how that would work once she gets to choosing a school or committing to a school, and if they're not an Adidas affiliated school, how that would kind of work. And we were kind of talking a little bit about kind of a similar situation with Cooper Flag going to Duke and committing to Duke and then signing his sneaker deal with New Balance. So he's obviously still going to wear Nike playing for Duke. But just kind of thoughts on how that would kind of happen with this young lady that signed with Adidas. Because there are some top schools that are Adidas schools. So I'm assuming she'll probably try to lean towards going to one of those schools, maybe like a Notre Dame or something like that. But I think that's a huge deal. Shout out to her. I think Candace Parker has ties to Adidas, and I think she had some input in selecting this young lady. So shout out to Candace Parker as well. Anything else you wanted to add on that part?
Yeah, what the deal is like, it's intriguing. Like, you want to ask, like, who controlled the money? Does she does? Now is like, what happens? Like, do her deal ends when she signed? That's the only like questions like anybody should ask. Anybody asks. These are like young kids getting millions of dollars in connection everywhere, and you just hope they have the right guidance with all of this stuff. We just hope she have the right guidance. Her career don't get derailed from any of this. And then it's just well, Adidas is building. You remember like what was it, the early 2000s when we had the Brotherhood with KG, Tim Duncan, all them guys, Gilbert Arenas. Adidas is
Right.
building like that new sisterhood, which is kind of cool. They got a couple of players. Kansas Park is like leading the charge, picking most of the sisterhood. I think that's like kind of cool that they pick someone so young, which is like, because I was telling Cam, I was like, I'm pretty sure the number one player for girls going next year might be Chavez. I believe that's her name, Chavez. I was like, wait, this girl's like 27. That's like, what is she, like a sophomore right now? That's
Yeah, something like
crazy.
that.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't disclose none of that because now I feel like she might be a target. Like, I just hope everything just go smoothly. I'm happy for the deal. I'm glad the NIL is here. It gives a new dynamic to basketball. Give me and Cam something to talk about too. So yeah, I'm here for it. Some people are not. People coaching at the higher level, they can't stand it because they feel like it trickles down to like kids that's not even there, like not on that level. So it is what it is. Everybody have different takes. I'm here for it. Go get paid. You can always go back to school. I mean, it shouldn't be a number one priority like develop and find yourself. But if you could go get a bag and help your family and help everyone around you, go get your bag. That's how I look at it. That's the only take I got from that, Cam.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously the times are different, things are changing. It's just, the NIL is a part of basketball now. So like you said, obviously you go to school and you want to try to like, keep your focus together and kind of just focus on your schoolwork and, your sport, whatever sport you play. But I mean, if you can make some money for your family, or even just make money to take care of yourself while you're in school, so you're not relying, on a scholarship and relying on families as much as you normally would, then I'd say you should take advantage of it. So I agree. I would student athletes that are in that position to, obviously take advantage of it when the opportunities present itself. But like you said, you just always hope that like they have a good circle around them, a good circle of like family as well as they friends, coaches and stuff like that. So nobody's trying to like take advantage of these, because it's like it was already hard enough having, you know, universities and stuff take advantage of student athletes, and they're coming in as technically, adults at 18. But I think even now with the NIL deals and stuff like that, and them kind of being able to go after even younger athletes, I think it's a slight cause for concern, if you think about it. But like we said, if you have the right type of people around you, then that it shouldn't necessarily be an issue. But even prior to the NILs and all of that, when guys were getting paid under the table and all those types of things, those brought those same type of issues even then, when you're dealing with money and, you know, being a minor and having your family have to do, some of the business stuff for you. It could be a little shaky situation, especially when it's dealing with money and family and friends. So you kind of hope for the best for, not just this girl, but all of these student athletes that attract this type of money and are influencers and all that type of stuff. So yeah, we always wish them the best, and hopefully, we see her in the WNBA years from now, and we can be like, she did it the right way, and you know, kind of handle her business the way you're supposed to. So shout out to Kalina Smith for signing with Adidas. So now we're gonna get to the topics of the women's 3-on-3 league Unrivaled that we spoke on in a previous episode. But they have announced their coaches, as well as some other players that committed, and then they also announced their new executive vice president / general manager. So first, we're just going to talk about the coaches. Then we're going to name. I'm going to name off the players that committed. Obviously they've already had players, but they've had an additional, I think it's like 6 women that have committed. And we'll save the part with the general manager for the latter. So Unrivaled announces their coaches. The first coach selected is Phil Handy, which is funny that you brought up Phil Handy when we were talking about Juju. Obviously, I think his last coaching job was like player development with the Los Angeles Lakers. But he's also just a guy. I think before he got to the Lakers, he was with Toronto when they won their championship. I know he worked in Cleveland before. So he's just a known guy in the NBA that's worked with a lot of players. A very good coach when it comes to skill work and individual work, especially with guards. I think he does very well working with guards on their handling and stuff like that. So to me, that was the biggest part of those announcements, was having a guy like Phil Handy as one of your inaugural coaches for your league. That's huge. So Phil Handy is one coach. Adam Harrington is another coach that they added. I don't know too much on him. From what I've been able to find out, he's like a NBA and WNBA trainer that I'm sure he's worked with a lot of notable players. The next coach is Nola Henry, who you actually brought up earlier before we were recording, but she's She's been on the LA Sparks coaching staff as of recently. The next coach, DJ Sackman, didn't know too much about him either. Wasn't able to find that much from what I looked up, but I think he's also a guy that a lot of his focus was on training players. So I know he's probably worked with some notable names as well. We can look into that later. The next coach is Andrew Wade. From what I've known, he's last worked with the Washington Mystics. And then we have Teresa Weatherspoon, which is another huge name, for former WNBA player, great player. Was just recently let go by the Chicago Sky, which I don't think a lot of people agree with that. I was definitely one of those people that didn't necessarily agree with that, because I think she was building a great chemistry with her locker room in Chicago and with the players she was coaching. And I think they all had like a great relationship with her, from Kennedy Carter to Camilla to Angel Reese. I think they all kind of just, I think Teresa Witherspoon is just one of those, not just a coach, but just a general person. I think she's just one of those people that comes off as being just a real person. She just seems like she has great energy and great enthusiasm. She obviously knows the game. So I think them and Unrivaled being able to add her to their coaching, to add her as one of their coaches, I think that's a big move as well. And like I said, another former WNBA player that players are going to respect, all the time, just because they know she has the experience. She's been in their shoes before. So those are the 6 coaches that they announced. What's your thoughts on the coaches?
Just real quick on Teaspoon. The only reason why I think a lot of people is mad about the Teaspoons firing Kim is like, why give her a coaching job? You gonna fire the following year? Like, it's not like she been there for 3 years and you like, yo, we seen enough. And I know the reason, like, a lot of people are saying through the rumor mill is like off court issues, dealing with a player they traded and all of this stuff. But I don't understand why give somebody a coaching job just to fire them like after 1 year, unless they did something crazy. Like, I understand that you have to get rid of them. But other than that, I'm glad. See, like, Nola Henry, like, I know her because we was talking offline. I remember her because she had to become the interim head coach for a while for the Sparks for a little bit. So that's how she flashed to me when I saw her name popped up, and I was like, oh, that's a good look, because now all these people on this list are not super notarized coaches or play. Besides Teaspoon and Phil Handy, if you know basketball, you would know Phil Handy. So now, but this is like a good thing for like guys like Phil Handy, who like probably may never get a NBA job as a head coach, but this could open up so much door probably that could lead him to the WNBA or to a college program too. Just like showcasing his knowledge to like to a broader audience of like, hey, I'm not just an individual one-on-one coach. I can coach like a group too. Like, I can run plays. I can strategize with more, because like it's like different aspects. So now he get to showcase that, and everybody on this list get a chance to like showcase themselves. That's why I think this is like kind of cool. They didn't put too much like well-known people. It's like they're known, but they're not like well known to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I definitely
That's
agree.
all I have for this. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I think even with the big, more notable names like Phil Handy and Teresa Witherspoon, I think even as coaches, we were just talking about with Teaspoon with the situation in Chicago, I think she's still kind of trying to prove herself in a way as a head coach. And I think, like you said, with Phil Handy, he's never had a head coaching job in the NBA. So I think this is another position where he can kind of show his capabilities, like you said, and show,
Yeah.
maybe if he never gets a head coaching job in the NBA, but there's the WNBA, and there's some WNBA coaches who have been very successful, who never got an opportunity at getting a position in the NBA. Even if you think about as of recently, Becky Hammon, she had her little stint in the NBA where she was trying to, work her way up, and sometimes it's too much politics involved and stuff like that, and it just don't happen that way. But I think going to the WNBA and getting a head coaching job, that's the next best thing in my opinion. So I think there's plenty for these coaches to show and kind of prove what they can do in this new league. And I think since it's new, it'll have a lot of eyes on it. So I think this will be a great opportunity for them to get some more exposure, and hopefully all of them can work their way up the coaching ranks through this league as well. So that's cool. I definitely agree with what you said. I'm glad they didn't kind of go just strictly for names, and they kind of just went more for like coaches trying to prove themselves, and they're gonna be passionate. I think that's, especially with a new league like this,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
probably
that's
the big thing.
important. Yeah, and not kind of a coach that may come in there and feel like they can kind of overrule and stuff like that. So I think it's a good move. But next, we're just gonna get into
To give the players a break too. To give them a break from two, like you said, that overruling coach. Now they get like a different kind of feel, like different type of coaches. Give the players a different look.
exactly, and even with it being 3-on-3, I think that'll change up some of the coaching dynamic as well. So that'll definitely um, be a huge part of this first season that they'll be starting in January. So that's good. I can't wait to see what coaches get picked for each team, and kind of once they figure out who's playing with who and who what players will be playing for what coach. So that'll be something we'll be looking forward to. So the next we'll be getting into the 6 players that have recently committed to the Unrivaled League. So first, we'll start with Kate Martin from the Las Vegas Aces, Aaliyah Edwards
Dog.
from Aaliyah Edwards from the Washington Mystics, Lexi Hull from the Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever, Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun, and Steph Dolson from the Washington Mystics as well. So obviously, the previous episode we were kind of talking about what players we think might end up committing to fill out those last spots that they had. So what do you think about these 6 women that committed here?
No, I think it's good. I want to see. Aaliyah Edwards is going to be interesting being young with joining the other young rookies that came in with her. So that'll be fun to see her. And you already know Alyssa Thomas is a walking triple double. So I want to know
Right.
how she gonna like play with this 3-on-3. Like, is she gonna be more passive? Is she gonna look for like not look for her stats, but be like all around where she's like, yo, I'm just gonna go in here and bully y'all and just play like 3v3, like if I'm at the park. The only person I'm like, Stephanie Dawson is like, I can see her being a 3-on-3 player, but she don't fit the mold of a 3-on-3 lead because it's like if it was FIBA style where it's just like a half court set, I could see her dominating, just using her size and just dominating. So I want to see how she's gonna interact with a compressed court and you still gotta run. Because if it was like a 3-on-3 set, yes, she. So I want to see how she adapt to that new format. I mean, like, yeah, she runs in the WNBA, but it's like you're with 5 players. Now, when you're with 3 players and you run it on a short court, you're counted upon. You're counted upon. You can't hide. And I'm not
Right.
saying she's not a good player or anything like that. I just want to see how she's gonna adjust. Because if this was FIBA style, like FIBA 3-on-3 or Olympics 3-on-3 women's basketball, she'll dominate. She'll just go on the block and just take care of business. So that's interesting. I like the 6 they bought in, and I just want to know who's gonna fill what now. They probably at like what 32, 33, I think. So I want to know who's gonna fit the last 4. If I'm not mistaken, it might be
Yeah.
4 spots left. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure.
I think it's
Y'all who listen, go check it out.
Yeah, I think it's like 4 spots left. But yeah, I think from what you were saying about
Yeah,
Steph,
my
what's
bad,
up?
Cam. My bad. I forgot. I left out the dog. She a dog, and no disrespect. She a alpha. Katie Martin is a. I like her. She's gonna be scrappy in the
Yeah,
lead. She gonna be
yeah, for
scrappy
sure.
in that lead. She's built for like leads like this, where she gonna get up
Yeah,
in
and I
everybody's chest, and she's built for this.
yeah, and I think like you said, I think this is a league where she'll be one of those players that really get to showcase what she can do. Like obviously, if she's on the Aces, you know, she kind of got to play her role on that team, and especially with her being young. It's like she kind of got to fall in line. But I think in this league, with it being 3-on-3, I think she'll definitely open some eyes. If people don't know about her, they definitely will find out. But like you said with Steph Dolson, I think she'll kind of be in the same position like a Brittany Griner, where they don't necessarily like fit the mold, but I think in this type of league, I think some teams are just like even if you watch the big three, there's some teams that have a post presence, and then there's some teams that kind of just work more on the perimeter. So I think players like her or Brittany Griner, I think they'll find their way with whoever they ended up teaming up with as far as who they end up playing with. So I think they'll be able to kind of find where they fit as far as in this particular style. But most people would look at them and like, oh, you know, they don't necessarily fit how the flow is gonna go. Which I mean, it could end up being where the bigs maybe they don't play as much as you know the guards or the swing players that are forward slash guards or whatever. But I think they'll still be able to impact the game and impact their teams. So that I mean, maybe if you know Brittany Griner's in the league, it's like you do need a matchup for her because you don't necessarily want to just be like, all
At the
right,
end,
give it to BG, let her post up. It's like, all right, somebody's gonna have to guard her. So I think it'll end up playing out well, but it's definitely exciting. Added some more ladies to the mix, and I think once they kind of, like I said before, kind of put each coach with a team, and then find out who's going to be on the same team, then they can kind of start figuring out how they're going to go about playing. But yeah, I definitely like the selections, and I wish Caitlin Clark could have committed if she's going to, just because she has 3 teammates in the league now that are playing in Unrivaled or have committed to Unrivaled. So that'd be nice. Even if they are playing against each other, that would still be cool to see like certain players who are teammates actually get to play against each other and see them compete against each other. That would be nice. But I think regardless, even if Caitlin Clark doesn't play, I think it's enough talent all the way, you know, throughout the league that they'll do just fine. It'll be great matchups, great games. Then even with the coaching, I think that'll even take it to the next level. But Ken, before we get out of here, I did want to add that Unrivaled did name their executive vice president slash general manager. Her name is Claire Duilius. She started out as a
you talking about the
what you
Lynx, the Lynx
yeah
GM?
she started off
Oh,
as basketball operations coordinator, and then she transitioned to a GM. But just a little breakdown of her resume. She has two WNBA championships. She has 4 finals trips, 10 playoff appearances, and she has 1 Commissioner's Cup. So bringing someone like that in the fold to be their executive VP and GM for the league, that's a big announcement. That's huge. I'm sure she's been around the block, so she definitely knows her stuff. And them kind of getting her in the fold, that was a good move. Not only this move, but even when we were previously talking about their sponsorships and then the TV deals with Turner and all of that stuff. Like this is these are huge accomplishments for a league that hasn't even technically started yet. So I think they're doing really well of kind of getting everything in order prior to the season starting. I think this move, you want to have somebody in that position that has experience. I don't think that's a position you want to fill with somebody that's kind of coming in, that's kind of new to those type of responsibilities. So, like you said, I didn't have any knowledge of who she was initially, but if you said she worked with the Lynx or for the Lynx, so I'm sure she's had enough experience with them and previous teams or whatever that she'll definitely bring a lot to the league and definitely help them move in the right direction and just progressing. Because hopefully this is a league that people like us that love basketball, they want this to continue. Like they don't want this to be a league that kind of comes and goes. They want it to stick around and kind of be a staple in the basketball community. So I think bringing in the coaches, the players, the front office personnel that they need, getting the type of marketing and stuff that they need, because that's one of the things that I think people sometimes have issues with the W is like some of their marketing and stuff like that, and like choosing their game times and the days of their games and stuff like that. So I think kind of starting a league like this is where some of those things that they may hear certain fans complaining about, they'll actually try to do what they can to try to make those changes in this league. So that's always good. But I definitely wanted to add that part there at the end because that was a new announcement and just definitely a good look for the league in general. So I definitely had to bring that up before we get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know you said they had a new GM, but I didn't know it was the Lynx GM. So I want to know if like Napheesa Collier spoke to her on the side, like, "Hey, you want to help us out?" Because I didn't know. Because I remember you didn't really tell me. You just say, "Yo, they got a new GM." I was like, "Oh, like I know that name." I was like, "Oh, that's the Lynx GM." But yeah, that's a good look. To be honest, Cam, I'm not trying to compare the two, but they are similar to each other in many ways. The big three and the unrivaled basketball lead, the 3-on-3 3v3 women lead. But right now, just starting off, compared to how when the big three started, they're two different elements, but I feel like they really put like some groundwork compared to like the big three. I think the big three felt like it just popped up, in my opinion. It just popped up. It was like, let's just do something that's like, just give the fans something for the summer. This felt like they put more thought into it. And I like that. I like that. Like they really went and got people like that's part of it. Not no one that doesn't know anything or never been around it. They went and got people who honestly been around basketball and probably love basketball as any other person that's watching. So that's a good sign. That's a real good sign. So yeah, before we get out of here, I want to thank everyone once again for listening, just giving us our take. I'm glad you guys stay patient with us in this episode. We just wanted to give our reaction to everything, our weekly reaction that's going to come out. Man, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. We on Spotify. And the link for everything will be in the bio of the YouTube channel. So until next time, y'all. See y'all on the umbrella.